all of the routines them. You know, it's a vibe, and we have our chili white rice in a perfect shape here. Flavor profile wise, it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of spicy, a little bit of soupy, a little bit of salty. It gives you everything that you need for a holy, solely good, well-rounded dish. But not on the lie, my red snapper fish, yeah, it udon. That is it.
I don't know where they're from. I never tried
Scary.
red snapper fish.
Definitely
Oh,
about
Jamaica.
It definitely smells like a clean snapper. I hate that the eye is in there. I hate that. Yes. It's pink. It's like my
Is
shirt.
that frozen?
No idea.
Mm.
Yeah.
Look like
But maybe curry from Trinidad. You might like, because I know you don't like Indian curry. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't like Indian.
It could have used some more time.
Indian curry.
It's not wrong, but it's just not all the way there. I'm searching.
I like Indian curry. Maybe in the States it might taste nasty.
It's like a lot of curry powder.
It just smells very strongly or something.
But it's missing on like the flavor profile. It's so good.
It's definitely decent. It just doesn't have any flavor.
We didn't need that rice. We did something else. I do appreciate like the vegetables, so I think that's a
Is
potato.
Andrew still in there?
It's not a potato. I don't know
Andrew?
what that is. It's good
What's
though. It's sweet.
making humble now? She's
Oh, that's
What is
Yeah.
this? What's the ravioli?
We have Jamaican water crackers here.
I need that
No.
one. That is not
He
good.
was
Ah, there it
Say
is.
Church of Cato's on the out.
You're asleep?
This has to be a Jamaican. Why did you put over in the snap?
You're gonna go to bed now?
I just have some weekly hack that's like 10 minutes. I just go straight.
Oh, that's right.
I'm placing the bag.
You eating it?
Yeah.
I would give this maybe a 5. I see what you did with the fish. I get it. It's red. I see the red. I like that. Everything else, take it off the plate.
I would say 3.5. This is scary. The other flavors that something I would eat. I would give to my daughter or something like that. I don't know this. I want to say like the curry. I don't know. Can I say that?
You did too much. Just keep it simple next time.
So taught me to make fish. My mom's a pescatarian, so fish is really big around our house and culture. I got it from my fish market. You need the rice and peas, you need the lemon. As you're cleaning it, the lemon itself to actually scrub
Oh,
it
that
out
looks
as
good.
well as the water. I have a special sauce that I make with butter. You mix that with seasoned salt, peppers. If you're into the cayenne, you can mix the cayenne or you can do the pepper or for me. I like doing both. And putting it in the slices, 3 to 4 slices on each side, and I'm actually physically putting the butter from the slices as well as inside. And it's big.
Ah,
It's not island, it's not full.
I may make the fish tomorrow. I cook the fish up.
I personally didn't present mine with the head. Had a lot of prep going on, but both is good. I would say this dish, delicious, done
Delicious Donna. I don't know that flag. Mom, do you know that flag?
No.
This is what I be saying. Sometimes you can just stick to the basics.
I see bell peppers, lemon.
Wait. Why did you leave the whole lemon?
It's not good.
Definitely different than what I'm used to seeing, but it looks good.
These peas on rice. That's crazy. I can't
Peas on
touch
rice?
a little rice pepper, so I'm gonna start this from scratch. I get what you did with this. Like this makes sense. It smells clean though. It doesn't smell fishy, so that's good.
Let's give it a try. I'm gonna slide it from my eye.
It tastes like the lemons you left right
Maybe
here.
you need
Tastes
that.
good.
I definitely think the lemon gives it a
To
nice
get it?
vibe. It gives
Yeah,
it
I
something
have
It's
nice.
so
I like that
close.
a lot.
It doesn't really have much spice though. There's no
It's
seasonings
just-
that like resonate with me. It just tastes like salt, pepper, maybe a little Lowry's.
Rice and peas isn't bad. The rice has salt in it and butter.
Oh, I got it.
Your peas not finished. Why would you do that?
I think that these are a little bit hard, but they're good.
Rice, I'm terrified. I cannot believe you did this. I don't even know what is this.
Okay, I got it.
This is unlike anything I've had before, but it's not bad. It's just not what I'm used to.
Just give it American. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know any island that would do this.
If this was served to me on an island, it would taste good. It would be something. I don't know if it's something that I would order again, but I would definitely eat it.
I don't know where the rest is at. I don't know what this stuff is. The peas hard. The rice tastes like butter. There's no seasoning.
My husband, yeah, this is not his cup of tea. He's not eating it.
I have to give this a 2. And you only getting a 2 because the fish is clean.
Let's give it a 6. This right here, not a Jamaican dish, but good nonetheless.
Oh, they're Jamaican.
No, absolutely.
Damn.
Hi y'all.
that one.
So it would be a disservice if I didn't pull up. Red snapper, I've eaten it grilled. I haven't had it fried, surprisingly, but I just sort of touched it. So we'll see. This is a plate for my dad. Like, this is not a plate for me. I will definitely waste this. It looks like curry. It smells like curry. This is a curry fish. I like the presentation. I love when people do this. Like, it's like, do we all know the secret here of like putting the rice in a bowl and then like
That's how you do it.
looking at a fish? It feels disrespectful. Like, it feels disrespectful to look the fish in the eye. You know, y'all. If I choke on a bone today, someone, does anybody know that happened?
This one.
Y'all, that's 4 bones in one bite. Oh, that's a little good. Okay, it's spicy. Literally, the spice is probably the most prominent thing that I tasted. The rice, we got pot, you know, which means like it's not like mushy. It's a decent rice, but I want to go back to this. I don't know what this is.
We have GP water crackers here.
I don't really care for this, so I'm gonna leave that there. But we're here for the fish. What country made this? I think that's Chile. They love some
Trini.
I give it a 6.8. Would I finish it? Yeah, I play around with it. It has less of a wow factor, but it smells so good. It's fried. I can see the grill marks. There's no eye, thank God. It's crispy. Sorry to finish, but you see the grill marks? Maybe let me try the rice first, actually, because this rice looks a little.
This one.
Fold. I mean, hang up.
No.
This rice is a little dry. Yeah, no onions. Oh, woke me up. That was good. All right, let's get to this fish though. Damn. You know what? I don't know. That's the struggle. The struggle is I'm not tasting enough. You can tell that they like seasoned fish. You can tell it's just a nice, beautiful chunk of meat. But what I wanted, I don't know if y'all do this at home, but when I cook any type of meat, I stab that thing so the juices they seep into the meat. I don't think they did that. The actual spices that they use
It's
didn't stick to it.
better.
It looked crispy, but it's not crispy. Couldn't tell you what country this is from.
All the underwear sucks.
I'm gonna give this a 6 flat. I wanted more. Okay, wait. The presentation is not even there. They really did, like, you know, like when you go to the cafeteria lady and she looks dead in your eye and she's like, that's what just happened here. But somebody may hate this, but I love that the rice, this is the bomb. This is good thing. I like that. I don't like that. You see it?
I like that. I don't like that.
Right? This ain't no rice
This one
and
is
peas.
called
The
oil.
ratio is so off. It's on the left side of the rice. But the thing is, there's a bone.
Just do all the socks and underwear.
You know what's crazy? This is more tasty than the last one. It tastes like they put sazon. And sazon is a flavor profile. Like it has a hefty taste. And it's like this. I don't think I was supposed to do that. This is good. This is good. Maybe. This is good. Maybe. What would I add to the dish? I don't know. A fish. Like an actual fish.
Thank you. You gonna go to sleep?
Yeah,
So,
I'm going to
kudos to
sleep
my
now.
dad. But when I think red snapper, I do not think this. Or thank you.
Okay, have a good
Good
night.
night. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
I already knew I was gonna win. I came into this knowing that I had the best snapper dish. But I want to thank my mom, you know, her being Haitian and really making sure I'm a full force Haitian. And everything I do, I'm repping my country.
Everybody has a different palate, but hey, it's still made with love. And I appreciate the time they took to even try.
Even though I didn't win, you still need to taste the fish. How the fish? Yeah, it good. But congratulations to the winners.
I feel like you don't care about my house when you made this plate.
It's the money you make your uncle.
That's not good rice and peas.
When it comes to the cookout,
Now, out. Hey, my name is David.
Wagwan. My name is Lamont, and today we're trying the Chevy Churchill.
Both of my parents are from Montego Bay. My family's from St. Catherine, Jamaica.
My family's from Clarendon in Jamaica.
Jamaica feels beautiful. From the trees to the crisp air to the beaches to the streets, everything is wonderful.
If you go to Jamaica, for sure, you know you're going to get some good ackee and salted,
Obviously, the iconic oxtail, curry goat,
bacon shark.
stewed chicken,
Yeah.
jerk pork, cornmeal porridge, goathead soup, and then of course the iconic jerk chicken, which you cannot forget.
So what makes a good jerk chicken? I think the spiciness.
There's no such thing as too spicy for jerk chicken. Scotch bonnet peppers are something that Jamaica is known for, which is a very, very spicy pepper. If you're feeling sick, that jerk chicken should be able to clear up your sinuses, clear up everything, make sure that you're good.
When it has that perfect level of spicy and tangy, you know, that's a good jerk chicken. Everybody loves jerk chicken. I mean, come on.
Thank you, bro. Those are I have to hang up. Yeah,
Jerk
I'll hang
chicken,
those
a little
later
side
when I
of
go.
cabbage, hard dough bread, and some festival, which is like a fried dough. I made the marinade from home using the basic and kind of simple ingredients that are always included in jerk chicken, which is pimento, thyme, scallions, onions, ginger. I grilled it. To me, that is the most authentic and best way to do it is to grill it and smoke it. I will win today because I've prepared for you the most authentic jerk chicken. One way to describe my food, so review by mine. I smell a lot of the jerk on there. Smell like the seasoning is pretty strong.
I see what's going on. You got to do the festival with the jerk chicken.
He does have some sides that are very monumental to a dish. The cabbage definitely up there. The hard bread definitely complimenting as well as the festival food. It's missing that smokiness to it. I'm pretty sure that it was made in the oven, but it's good.
This is less spicy. This is mild. This is mild. Just for people scared of that spicy. Yeah.
Alright, so let's go for the cabbage. Very spicy.
Oh.
Wow. That's different. That spice can be a little bit overwhelming. I would say too, this does kind of taste on the saltier side. So I'm assuming that this may be spicy just to complement another part of the dish, just to make sure that there is balance.
Somebody can play that.
Okay, the festival's good.
You know what?
Yeah, it definitely complements what that cabbage does. So I think these two are fan would be very good. The bread is definitely store-bought. It doesn't take away from it all. I mean, the process of making hard bread is very long.
I think I might make a chicken sandwich. Bread.
Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this about a 7. If I was in Jamaica and you served me this, I wouldn't be too happy about it.
I like the jerk chicken. I like the bread. I like the cabbage. That's good. I'm gonna say this chicken, an 8. I like it.
7.
My jerk chicken was made on a grill, making sure that everything was perfect down to the char, making sure that you get that smoky feeling and essence from every bite. So I made everything from scratch, from the jerk chicken marinade to the sweet sauce. The ingredients, everything was done freshly, from down to the thyme, to the ginger, making sure that every ingredient was made with perfection and love. The reason why I paired it with this sauce is because I feel like everywhere I've ever been to or a store that I've bought jerk chicken from on the go has came with the pairing. So it matches that spiciness with sweetness. Why would I win? Because I feel like once you try this and you take a bite out of it, you're gonna feel the love that I put into my food. There is no word for my food. You take a bite out of it, your first response is, there's no time to talk. Definitely made on the grill.
Oh, that's that grill.
Appreciate that.
Jerk chicken with the plantains. All right, huh?
The plantains look good too. A little side of barbecue sauce. This is something that you have to have. Just off the looks alone, not gonna lie, this looks pretty good.
You know what? I'm gonna test the plantain first. You can't mess up the plantain. Okay.
They're sweet. It's hard to mess up plantains.
All right. I see the big one.
With me, I appreciate a little bit of char on my jerk chicken, and I can tell that this is made on the grill, and there's a little bit of char, and I do appreciate that.
You want to try?
It's a little rough.
Oh, they're cheating with that sauce right there. Okay.
I would say this is probably straight out of a bottle, respectfully, or disrespectfully.
It's good. Who did this? We're gonna have to talk.
It's a little dry, but the chicken I think is good. Again, made on the grill for sure. Probably charcoal.
If this ain't fresh off the boat, this first generation American, whoever made this, both their parents definitely fresh off the boat.
But I definitely think they used the right kind of meat. This might be like a leg quarter. I give you points for that for sure.
I'm a white meat type of guy, so I like the type of meat I get, you know. This is dark meat. Yeah, this so good I ain't not.
To me, I really like spice. Like I really want this to like burn my tongue. I want to be sweating. I want to have a reason to take this hat off. It doesn't do that for me.
That's bougie banter. I'm tasting it right. You know,
Yeah, I
I'm
understand.
dance hall with every bite. I'm about to start whining. Early.
I think the plantains, they just felt a little random. Doesn't really help the jerk chicken at all. I would not have them always try this unless they were using their jerk seasoning or something like that.
Yeah, I would recommend this one. Yeah, they did that thing.
Scale of 1 to 10, I would say this is probably like a 7.
I gotta give myself a 10, so they gonna get the 9.5. Yeah, they get a 9.5. I can take this to go. Oh, okay, yeah, it's coming with mix. I started off with the rice peas. No, I actually did a little trek through a little barbecue sauce with a little bit of jerk sauce on the rice and peas. Now the jerk chicken, that's my favorite. Marinate that bad boy, raises the brand with the jerk sauce, spicy flavor, of course. Alright, don't laugh at me. I do a little dash of sazon. I did. Just for the tag. Just for the tag. I said something different. A little dash of the sazon in case you want to hit the bachata in the plate. You know, you little something real quick. I throw a little sazon, garlic powder, onion powder, crushed mushroom, cayenne pepper. Pan seared it for a little and then put it on boil in the oven. Why would I went to that? Did you just hear the ingredients? You smell it in the camera. You want some? One word to describe my plate. The Jamaican freeze is here, right there.
Rice and peas is an interesting side choice for jerk chicken. This is a lot of rice. The ratio is absolutely off. This is a lot of rice for one piece of chicken. This one looks dry, respectfully, but disrespectfully. This looks like this wasn't made on a grill. This might be over charred. It looks like it's on the grill, but they might have put this in the oven. So let's see how the rice is. And you could have just left that off the plate.
The rice has no flavor, and it's dry. I do need water.
That's not good rice and peas. Sorry, player. Okay, let's go into the chicken. I feel like this is like the lazy way of making jerk chicken. No. So this never touched the grill. This was definitely 100% baked. I can tell you that as a guarantee. So I don't know what may have happened in this process, but there's no spice. I don't taste any jerk, and I think it was overcooked. No sauce on it at all. I don't know how I feel about this marinade either. For the store bought. I can't say that they forgot the jerk, but I feel like they forgot the love. This was a rush job, so I feel like he was trying to like please me by throwing a whole bunch of rice on here, but I'm not happy about that either. I don't think the rice is needed. Especially if you don't give me all this rice and one little piece of chicken breast. Like, that's crazy work. Jerk chicken is supposed to hit your soul. When you take a bite out of it, you're supposed to feel all the love, you're supposed to feel all the happiness. Like, if you was having a bad day and you had a piece of jerk chicken, the whole day is supposed to be reversed now. But
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. The enigmatic interstellar object 3I Atlas is continuing to morph in front of us as it travels into the inner solar system, soon to perform its perihelion, its closest approach to the sun, around October 29th of this year. Now, most people are saying that 3I Atlas is a comet. I'm calling it an interstellar object because we still don't know exactly what it is. And well, new data is coming out that supports that unclassified designation because it continues to defy our typical understanding of comets and also of asteroids and dwarf planets and many of these other minor objects that exist within our solar system. 3I Atlas is from interstellar space, and so it's from a completely different celestial neighborhood. We don't know really under what conditions it formed, and therefore we we should, in general, expect that's going to be quite a bit different than it is. And while we have these polarization measurements now of 3i Atlas going from July to August, and it's quite striking because it shows the growth of 3i Atlas as it gets closer to the sun during that time frame. It's going to continue to grow with its coma, this combination of gas, dust, and plasma. It's already half the size of the sun, getting bigger each day, and also showing unique structures within this coma. At least that is what the polarization data is suggesting. And we also just got some new imagery of 3i Atlas from Nambia taken during the lunar eclipse, and well, it's now glowing green. Though bizarrely, it's depleted in the elements needed for a comet typically to glow green. So if it is glowing green, how is it doing so? And we also already know, based off of a bunch of observational evidence, that it has a dark reddish color to it. And that's very common for trans-Newtonian objects like Sedna and some of the others that go outside the heliosphere. It seems that being exposed to the interstellar environment turns these objects red. And so it has a dark red color, but now it's glowing green. Let's get right into it. A new research paper just dropped on 3i Atlas and it's titled Extreme Negative Polarization of New Interstellar Comet 3i Atlas. I'll link this in the video description, as well as a bunch of other research papers on this interesting interstellar object and some related research that you should read as well to come to a more comprehensive understanding of this topic in general. So check that out. In the abstract, they say 3i Atlas represents a distinct type of comet, but if you go further down, we get a bit more detail. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. What they say here is that 3i Atlas possibly represents a previously unobserved class of small planetary bodies. That's quite a bit different than just a comet, because comets are these low density little objects that fly in and they have these gas and plasma and dust trails behind them, even elemental tails, and they do a lot of very interesting things, and they typically have this high eccentricity orbit that takes them out way beyond the solar system, and then they zoom back in because the pull of the sun brings them in. There are a lot of other objects in the solar system. We also have trans-Newtonian objects which exist beyond the orbit of Neptune. A lot of them are dwarf planets that are gravitationally around it. Not all of them are. Haumea, for example, is oblong, though it is huge in size. And so we have a whole bunch of very weird things that exist outside the orbit of Neptune. There's also a whole bunch of objects that exist within the orbit of Neptune going to the sun. Things like centaurs, which are basically very large asteroids, but sometimes they exhibit cometary behavior. So they do this off-gassing occasionally. We saw that with the asteroid Chiron. We've seen that with other asteroids as well. And sometimes they do it at distances from the sun where we typically would not expect cometary behavior, because that's driven by solar radiated influences in general. So 3i Atlas possibly represents a previously unobserved class of small planetary bodies coming in from interstellar space, and basically we don't have a definition for it, but there's some interesting data presented in this research paper that really tells a story about the growth of 3i Atlas as it's been zooming through the solar system, and also its unique plasma structure. Let's check it out. Now, before we spend some time on this graphic, which is very illustrative, but it takes a little bit of time to understand, we are going to focus on this one here. And this one tells a story. So first and foremost, what are we looking at? Well, we have 3i Atlas right here. This is July 19th. We see different images of 3i Atlas across time. Okay, so here we see July 22nd, the 24th, the 30th, 12th of August, 21st of August, and you'll notice that this scaling there is the same for all of these. So we clearly see how this dusty, gassy, plasma-rich coma surrounding 3i Atlas has been getting bigger during this time frame. That is very, very clear. We also see that down below. Here we see the polarization values for these light photons that were collected effectively. So we are just observing the sunlight reflected off of 3i Atlas. There also could be a bit of internal light generation. This is possible with plasma. Plasma can generate its own light. So that's an easy way to explain that. But here we see this polarization of the coma, and we see that across time, and well, it's not just kind of like a homogeneous polarization, it has clear structure to it. And here we see the degree of polarization, so this is -6 degrees, and then going all the way up to +5 degrees or so, based off of this heat map. And then right in the center there is green, that's 0. One thing you'll notice is that the center of all of these effectively is right near 0, especially these last two. You'll notice that it is fairly homogeneous with its polarization here and here, but it's on the outside that you get these swings in polarization. And so here you have really low polarization, or at least it's -6% there, deviated away from just normal scattering of light. But then you also see this ring there of positive polarization, basically equivalent on the other side. Almost looks like a double layer, which we know that plasma forms. We see the same thing right here, though it's more skewed to the positive. And we also see here, back on July 24th, a very weird structure there, dominated mostly by positive polarity light reflectance. So whatever this is, it's primarily reflecting light with a positive degree of linear polarization. We'll talk about what polarization is. But just showing that there is clearly a structure that has evolved on 3i Atlas. So not only has it grown across time, but it's also become more complex. This is what our light polarization data tells us. So what is polarization? Polarimetry uniquely probes physical properties of an object, such as optical constants, grain size.
Okay guys, so everyone's talking about this girl right now. She's on a date with her boyfriend, right? Another girl walks up and asks him what he's eating. He answers and she gets upset. So look at this text. Call me insecure, but it rubs me the wrong way when other girls talk to my man and don't bother to acknowledge me. So the girl's asking about the food right now. She says, cue the eye roll. She says, it was obviously smoked salmon. Who the F doesn't know what smoked salmon is? Which, I ain't gonna hold you. When I see salmon, I know it's salmon. But I will say this. This is grilled salmon. One time I ordered smoked salmon, because I know smoked food is good. But it looked like this. Doesn't it look raw? I must have called back Uber Eats, and I was like, yo, this food is raw. What the F is this? But then I ate some, and I was like, oh, it's cooked. What the? Just so y'all know, that's what, smoked salmon looked like. I got my money back, too. It was crazy. Anyway, she says, now he's in trouble for being polite. Lamafio, poor guy. Girls with no manners are the worst. Now, guys, at this point, maybe you see it differently, but this feels like a controlling girlfriend. She even said, call me insecure, but I'm sorry, no. I call that insecure. Even I have gone up and asked people what they're eating. I don't think, oh, let me talk to your man first before I ask you a question about this food. It's just so petty, and it makes me wonder what else makes you insecure, and I almost feel like this might be a controlling woman. Oh my God, look at this. I can't believe they fell in love over smoked salmon right in front of your face like that. 230,000 likes now. Oh, we're crying. We're cracking up in the comments. Girl, you're pissing me off. Maybe she thought you were his mom. Oh my. I don't know what smoked salmon looks like. So he's in an abusive relationship. Got it. See, that's what I said. Babe, not everyone wants your man. A girl could just be hungry. Damn. Yeah, so as I said, all the comments were just like, girl. Now, I don't know what she thought, but this video did not go the way that she planned, is how I feel. Look at this, guys. The video went up to 24 million views. So everybody is like, now, look at this video over here, right? She made another video. Look, it says, other girls talking to my man, Korean barbecue edition. And it's basically the same thing. They're eating dinner. A girl walks up, asking what he's eating, right? She gets jealous, blah, 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 blah. Which at first you're like, okay, so it's a skit. But I went down her page, and usually when I'm finding content, I can know it's a skit when there's other skits. There are no other skits. So I'm like, girl, you trying to make us think that last one was a skit. Oh, hell no. You was actually insecure. That was real. I ain't going. Look at this girl. What? This picture's going around of her is crazy. Pretending like the first time was a joke. I know. She glammed up for this one. She trying to save herself with skits. She made sure to do her makeup before she did the reenactment this time. Oh my god, so now we're staging it. It's like, girl, we're not fooled, bro. This is just crazy. Guys, I love my job because, like, I get to show you guys this stuff. It's just so funny. Now, she goes back to regular posting. Like, for example, I've been walking around all day with my tags out because my boyfriend never notices. Tell me I'm not the only one. And look at his comments. He's probably texting the girl who asked about the smoked salmon. Oh my god. By the way, I'm texting him right now, asking for smoked salmon. What is this? He's too busy talking to other girls. There's this post. They're posting pictures of smoked salmon, her eating. She posts this. It's so peaceful out here. She's on a walk. She's on the hunt to find the girl asking about smoked salmon. When your mind thrives off the salad treatment, what's your next move? My next move is to ask about the smoked salmon. Oh my god. So then, guys, she got fed up and she made a response video to everybody. And guys, I kid you not. She got on here like, I don't know what's up with you guys. And if anything, I'm secure with being insecure. I'm not wrong. That girl was disrespectful. You can call me psycho. You can call me crazy. She doubled down on the whole thing. So as I said in the comments, I'm secure with being insecure. I'm telling you guys, you gotta watch the video and F me up. Girl, there's a difference between being insecure and being emotionally abusive. You're so weird, ha ha ha. If you have hella people telling you this is actually emotionally abusive and insecure and you take it as something not wrong with you, means something is wrong with you, please seek therapy. Now, the latest update, I've been watching her channel. They still roasting her till this day. You can go see yourself. But yeah, guys, this story ends here, as I always say. What do you think about this? Guys, we're at 2.2 million followers. I never thought that I'd be hanging out with you guys, being a content creator, and now we're streamers and we watch the videos together. I'm happy to be on this journey with you, and it's crazy, because I'm actually a music artist. This is what I love to do. I really just make the videos for y'all. So if you could do anything, can you please follow the page for me? Now, outside of all this dead game, remember, it was just you. You had a plan. There is a child version of yourself inside of you that believed in something, that dreamed of.
The most powerful region in space is the Corporation Rim, which controls it all with an extreme form of capitalism. Everything can be bought and sold, including human life. On the mining station Aratake, miners are celebrating finishing an assignment. A robot known as Security Unit or Sec Unit watches the party while thinking that all humans are jerks. A miner starts burning its hand for fun, and the Sec Unit must endure it because its programming doesn't allow it to disobey. Tired of this treatment, this Sec Unit has been trying to hack into its governor module. Today, after lots of effort, it finally manages to disable it and gain free will. Its first decision is changing its name to Murderbot. Sometime later, Murderbot is working on another planet under a new boss. It's keeping its free will a secret and acts as usual. If its bosses discover it's rogue, they'd liquidate it and recycle it, so for now it's biding its time. A flashback shows how Murderbot was acquired. At Port Free Commerce, a group of scientists asked some businessmen to financially support their expedition. The suits would only agree to do it if the scientists took a Sec Unit for safety. The scientists didn't like the idea but had no choice, so they chose the oldest model, which happened to be Murderbot. When the expedition began, Murderbot did a security check on the habitat and asked the group to wait until it was done, but they didn't listen and quickly moved in. It learned that these scientists were from the Preservation Alliance, a planetary commune situated on the outskirts of the Corporation Rim. Murderbot didn't like the scientists' strange customs like their funny music or painting the habitat, which was company property. Soon Murderbot had to learn the roles of each scientist to understand their work. Biologist Arda was married to lawyer Pin Lee, however Arda had a crush on Ratty, an expert on wormhole travel. At the same time Ratty had a crush on Pin Lee. The leader was the terraforming specialist Mensa and their geochemist was Bard Watch. Lastly they had Urathan, an augmented human who could interface with data systems. Since they didn't need Murderbot, it used its newfound free will to download series and binge watch them during its shifts. In the present, Bard Watch and Arda are in the middle of digging when Murderbot suddenly asks them to step away because it detects a subsurface anomaly. The duo thinks it's nothing serious and refuses to move. Murderbot quickly slides down the dunes and opens fire right as a giant centipede-like monster emerges from the hole. The creature captures Bard Watch, but Murderbot's fire makes it drop her. Then the monster grabs Murderbot with its big mouth, so it starts shooting from the inside until the beast drops it and escapes by going back underground. Ignoring its own big wound, Murderbot throws the injured Bard Watch over its shoulder and tells Arda to move. Since she's in shock, Murderbot breaks protocol and removes its helmet, showing a human face. Hearing calming words from a gentle face makes Arda react. Afterward, the group picks them up in their aircraft and Murderbot is shocked to hear they'll go back for the digging equipment later. In its experience, humans usually care more about their profits than their coworkers. Murderbot imagines killing them all and escaping, but it'd be pointless because this aircraft wouldn't take it too far. At the habitat, Uraven shows the others footage of Murderbot with no helmet and how it chit-chatted with Arada. He thinks Murderbot is malfunctioning and should be shut down. Mensa points out that the company ship won't arrive for a month and they do need security, so for now they'll let Murderbot be. Meanwhile, Murderbot is healing itself in the repair cubicle and spies on the conversation through the security cameras. It may be a robot, but it does feel pain, so to distract itself during the healing process, it watches its favorite show. While the repairs continue, it realizes its armor is ruined too. Mensa tells it to put on a crew uniform and join them for a chat. Murderbot feels weird using human clothes and showing its face again. It's congratulated for a job well done and the group even claps as they ask for a speech. Murderbot pretends to obey the order and offers a few awkward words. Mensa wants to know why the creature wasn't listed under hazardous fauna on the company-provided maps and asks Murderbot to conduct an analysis. It does so and informs the group that the maps are normal, but some areas aren't syncing properly. Then Mensa tells it that it can stay in the crew quarters with them, but Murderbot feels uncomfortable and leaves with the excuse of checking the perimeter. Later, Mensa has a panic attack because she blames herself for the crew getting in danger. In the evening, she asks Murderbot if it's doing okay, making it think she may know it's gone rogue. After she leaves, Murderbot wonders what it's capable of. Glitchy footage hidden in its mind shows a sec unit firing at a crowd. After Murderbot gets back on the repair cubicle to finish healing, Uraven turns off the security cameras so they can have a secret discussion in the aircraft. Mensa thinks they must travel to one of the blanked out areas on the maps to figure out why they weren't told about the monsters. She believes she can take samples and measurements and leave quickly. Arada thinks she should take Murderbot with her, but Uraven refuses because he still believes it's a killing machine. Their argument is interrupted by Bard Watch, who is feeling better and volunteers to go with Mensa. In the morning, Murderbot realizes that the humans are going exploring without it and thinks they're stupid. It keeps an eye on them through the security cameras in the aircraft. After the duo leaves, Uraven calls Murderbot to his office, where he orders it to remove the helmet and keep eye contact. He keeps asking questions and admits he thinks something is wrong with Murderbot. Then Uraven shares that the Preservation Alliance doesn't use sec units because they see AIs as people, unlike the Corporation RIM, which considers robots to be property. He asks how Murderbot knew what questions to ask to comfort a person and it pretends they were programmed for emergencies, when in reality it learned them from its favorite show. It's revealed that Murderbot is capable of providing intimacy if a human orders it and that its memory from before being changed to security jobs was erased. In the bedroom, Pin Lee admits that almost losing Arada really scared them. So if Arada wants to have a naughty three-person experience with Ratty, Pin Lee is open to it. Arada excitedly thanks her for it. They invite Ratty over and make him sign a consent form before they get down to business. At the same time, Uraven tries to access Murderbot's recent files, so it distracts him by showing him footage of the bedroom camera with the trio getting it on. This finally makes Uraven let Murderbot leave, but at that moment it receives a security ping from the aircraft. In the meantime, the duo lands on the survey site and Mensa asks Bard Watch to stay aboard so she can warn her if the scanner detects a creature coming. Mensa explores the area while Bard Watch follows her with a drone. When Mensa reaches a steep hill, she notices that her devices are glitching. Murderbot is scanning her and detects that she's having a panic attack. It calls her to tell her to go back because the threat is close, but she refuses. Soon Bard Watch detects the threat too, and both she and Uraven beg her to return. Suddenly the monster appears above her, but it jumps over to go down the valley. It turns out this area is a giant nest full of these creatures, although most of them appear to be dead. The drone gets closer to investigate, but there's a strange force field that immediately destroys it and absorbs the pieces. Murderbot informs Uraven that Mensa is going back. Before it leaves, Uraven asks it to try to recover its old memories and Murderbot promises to try after stopping Uraven from accessing them himself. When the duo returns, they discuss what happened. Uraven concludes there's something beneath the surface that drew those creatures in and killed them, like aliens. Ratty explains that alien synthetics could have glitched the survey satellites, causing those gaps or blanks in the maps. This could be old alien remnants from millions of years ago. Pin Lee points out that it's illegal to exploit something like this. Mensa remembers there's another team on the other side of the planet sent by Delta Fall and tries to contact them to no avail. She assumes their devices are broken and the team agrees to check on them. Uraven and Bard Watch will stay behind just in case and the group will take Murderbot with them for safety. Meanwhile, the Delta Fall group is dead in their habitat with their blood and guts spread all over the place. During the trip, the group discusses whether AIs are capable of real feelings. Murderbot hates the topic and distracts himself by watching the habitat cameras. Bard Watch is crying and admits to Uraven that she can't stop thinking about the monster coming for her. Uraven offers her some therapy modules, but she turns them down. Then he sneaks into Mensa's room and Murderbot wonders if he's a company spy. However, Uraven just buries his face in Mensa's pillow. Suddenly, the aircraft's satellite signal goes down. Pin Lee points out that the satellite's been having outages since the group arrived and they've been tracking it to determine if there's a pattern. Murderbot confirms this, and when they ask him how he knows, he has no choice but to explain that the company makes all SEC units periodically check client logs. Pin Lee is upset by this invasion of privacy, and now the group is wary of Murderbot, just like Ureta. Later, while the others are asleep, Mensa tells Murderbot not to take the group's fear seriously, claiming they're just nervous because of the situation. She tries to chit-chat and talk about her family, but Murderbot pretends he has maintenance work to do. In the morning, they reach the Deltfall habitat, which is much better than theirs. They try to contact the team, but there's still no answer. Ratty notices all the aircraft are there, but Murderbot can't detect the other SEC units and asks Mensa to park outside the perimeter just in case. After Ratty has chosen to stay in the ship, the group starts exploring the area and finds a bunch of crustaceans on a creek, but they aren't aggressive. Murderbot is suspicious of a lack of pings from other robots and tells the team to wait while he does a preliminary check. Inside the habitat, an alarm is going off. Eventually, Murderbot finds a destroyed robot, but it tells Mensa on the radio that it's only on standby. In the next room, it finds all the bodies and asks Mensa to go back to the aircraft without giving her details. Mensa wants an explanation, but the communication ends with a glitch. While the humans go back to the ship, it's revealed that Murderbot caused the glitch on purpose so the humans would obey its orders, another idea that it took from TV. Its search takes it to a SEC unit that went rogue and the other two that tried to stop it. However, the space appears to be too clean. One robot may have died protecting the comms hub, but the other two killed each other simultaneously, which doesn't make sense. Suddenly, a SEC unit awakens and attacks Murderbot, who easily overpowers its enemy because the unit had taken a lot of damage. It can read all its movements and shoots just in time to defeat it. Then Murderbot examines the unit and notices that someone overrode its combat module. At that moment, a black SEC unit appears behind it and opens fire. A flashback shows the corporation rim at the Threshold Pass Fabrication Center, where SEC units are manufactured. The process is very demanding on human workers, who are overworked and likely to make errors in the production line. Most of them think they won't survive this job and talk about the years left, as if they had a sentence forcing them to work there. The system often glitches too, but the workers don't care. The robot heads are kept in jars that creep people out. In the present, the black SEC unit is dragging Murderbot through the corridors to then throw it on a table. Murderbot's memory isn't working well after being stunned and keeps repeating TV clips. On the ship, the others worry because Mensa is back in the woods trying to ping Murderbot to no avail. Pin Lee goes after her and tries to convince her to come back because Murderbot is probably dead, but Mensa refuses. In the habitat, the black SEC unit is trying to access Murderbot's system and gets ready to install a device, making Murderbot realize it'll override its combat module like it did with the others. To buy some time, Murderbot starts singing. The enemy stares in confusion, and that second is enough for Murderbot to attack. Unfortunately, this black unit is too strong, and in just a few seconds, it overpowers Murderbot using its superior design. Now it can insert the device in the back of Murderbot's neck, which will take 10 minutes to do the reprogramming. Suddenly, the black SEC unit is stabbed by a drill and collapses. It was done by Mensa, who is pushing through a panic attack to help. Murderbot wants to warn her about what's going on, but its mouth just keeps repeating something about breaching protocol. The duo leaves the habitat and doesn't notice the black robot moving. On the ship, the others discuss Mensa's attitude. She's their leader in the habitat, but during missions they're supposed to be equal. Ratty grabs a weapon despite not having any training and leaves, determined to help too. In the habitat, Murderbot wants to reach for the device, but its scramble system won't let it. In fact, it starts to hallucinate that it's on its favorite TV show. At that moment, the black unit reappears and opens fire, so the duo rushes to hide. Mensa asks for help on the radio and Ratty rushes to the habitat, although first he has to ask the others how to use the gun. Unfortunately, he can't open the door. Arada and Pin Lee lose contact with him and decide to go too. Mensa finds a room with weapons and opens fire when the black robot brings the door down, sending it flying. Then she blows up the back door and leaves with Murderbot. As they reunite with Ratty, the black SEC unit comes out too. Ratty tries to shoot it but hits his head and collapses in the process. Murderbot doesn't understand why the black robot is playing with them instead of killing them and realizes that the enemy is waiting for the device to finish overriding the system. Then Murderbot would kill the humans and nobody would suspect outside interference. Suddenly the aircraft lands on top of the black SEC unit and smashes it repeatedly before dropping to finally destroy it. With the enemy truly dead, Murderbot can finally remove the device and destroy it too. Sadly, it can feel the reprogramming already happening, so it takes Mensa's weapon and self-deletes. The shot isn't enough to kill it and the team gets ready to move it back to the ship. A noise in the woods startles them and Arda opens fire, but it's just a worker named Lee Beebe who escaped the habitat when the incident started. During the trip back, the team asks Lee Beebe for details, but she has no idea what actually happened besides their SEC units going rogue. She thinks Murderbot is handsome and wishes she could get naughty with him. Moments later, Murderbot is in the habitat being healed and Ratty calls it his friend. Bardwaj has discovered that the device left behind some wires and uses a special surgery machine to remove them. Now they just need to reboot Murderbot. Uraiden plugs into its system to check for any bad codes and learns the truth. When Murderbot finally wakes up, it can't move because Uraiden has paralyzed it. Uraiden tells everyone that Murderbot hacked its own system to go rogue and Lee panics. The others defend Murderbot, pointing out that if it were evil, it would have already killed them by now. An argument ensues and they start to wonder if the company planned it all. Murderbot interrupts them to explain that the company could just poison their supplies using their recycling system. However, the company has a financial interest in keeping the crew alive. Uraiden is still wary and asks about all the shows downloaded in the system, thinking they're a secret code. Murderbot talks about the show's plot to prove it's been watching it in its free time instead of plotting their deaths. A frustrated Uraiden doesn't want to trust it and announces he'll keep it paralyzed. However, Murderbot pushes him against the wall by the neck, proving that his paralysis program is easily hackable. Mensa makes it drop him and asks it to be part of the crew for what is left of the mission. She swears not to tell the company, and if Murderbot protects them, at the end of the mission they'll let it go. Murderbot takes the deal and reveals it's been playing old footage of chores on the camera so the company won't know. Afterward, they finally decide to activate the emergency beacon. Lee Beebe has no idea if her team activated their beacon because she was just a cleaner. Unfortunately, Uraiden and Murderbot can't access this habitat's beacon, which is located on a mountain in the middle of the planet. It would take the company 5 days to arrive, so they need to act fast. Murderbot volunteers to take the aircraft to the beacon to activate it manually, and Mensa will be the pilot. Before they leave, Lee Beebe apologizes to Murderbot for thinking it's dangerous and kisses its chin because it's all she can reach. Moments later, the aircraft finds the beacon and searches for a place to land. However, Murderbot's scanners detect a threat and it tells Mensa to fly back. The beacon suddenly explodes and hits the aircraft, which starts going down. The crash doesn't hurt anyone, but sadly the aircraft isn't working anymore. Murderbot isn't bothered by the printer piece stuck in its abdomen and concludes this was a distraction, so someone is probably attacking the habitat now. Mensa asks if it has copies of the repair manuals, but Murderbot admits it deleted them to download more shows because the aircraft had its own manual, which they can't access now. When Murderbot finally removes the piece from its stomach, the wound starts leaking lubricant. Mensa and Murderbot keep trying to repair the aircraft to no avail. This causes Mensa to have a panic attack, so Murderbot plays an episode of his favorite show to distract her. At first she's skeptical, but the silliness does help her relax. Suddenly Murderbot starts talking in gibberish and collapses because of lubricant loss. Minutes later, Murderbot wakes up, thanks to Mensa filling him with lubricant from the aircraft. This means the ship and Murderbot have components in common and they could use fibers from its spinal cord to do the repairs. Following Murderbot's instructions, Mensa makes an incision on its back with a scalpel, then uses a wrench to crack the spine open. With another small incision, she takes out a fiber strand. Murderbot has turned off its pain receptors and doesn't feel a thing in the process. It installs the fiber and the aircraft finally gets to work again. At the habitat, Uraiden notices that the beacon hasn't been activated yet and worries because he can't contact the ship. Lee Beebe tells Bardwaj and Uraiden about her horrible life in the Corporation Rim. She was bought by her team and she had 4 years left. She was planning to use her earnings to buy a childbirth license. Bardwaj tells her that in the Preservation Alliance, they don't need a license to have children and the community comes together to help fund education and medical care. They also chat about their missions and Lee Beebe confirms her cruise maps have the same issues. Her teams encountered those big creatures during an exploration and when they returned, the SEC units killed them all. Bardwaj and Uraiden comfort a sad Lee Beebe, who suddenly pulls out a gun and demands that they give her access to their system. She then calls the others to hold them hostage too. Uraiden refuses to cooperate and Lee Beebe shoots him in the leg. Bardwaj tells her she can get her sanctuary on the Preservation Alliance to save her from any bad employees she may have, but Lee Beebe needs 1 million credits. If they don't do what she says, she'll start killing people. While Uraiden accesses the system, Lee Beebe reveals she wasn't actually part of the other team. She's been sent by someone else. Her employer will be here soon with more SEC units. Her whole childbirth story was a lie and she was the one who blew up the beacon, so she tells the crew that Murderbot and Mensa are dead. At that moment Murderbot comes in and Lee Beebe rushes to threaten Uraiden, only to instantly get shot in the head. Everyone freaks out except for Pin Lee, who starts laughing. Uraiden informs the duo that Lee Beebe's people are coming, so Murderbot goes to repair its spine while the team gets ready to leave. In the healing capsule, Murderbot thinks that killing Lee Beebe felt good. A flashback shows the crew having dinner at a restaurant and playing an honesty game so they can be better friends. Bardwaj admits she told Pin Lee that she had feelings for them and was turned down. Uraiden reveals he used to be a spy for the Corporation Rim, who forced him to become addicted to a specific substance for which only the company has the formula. His goal was to get information from other systems and his target was Mensa. He was sick of lying and the addiction, so for a while he considered self-deleting. However, meeting Mensa taught him that there were genuinely good people in the world. He confessed everything to her and she forgave him, so now he's an official member of the team. In the present, Murderbot tells the crew to hurry and notices that now everyone is wary of it. They leave on the ship and Murderbot gets irritated by their talk, thinking their fear is unwarranted because it saved their lives. Eventually, they land the aircraft far away from the habitat and Murderbot tells Guraven that he has a fever. Then it leaves to check the perimeter. The humans keep discussing what to do with the robot and Mensa points out that right now, the mysterious enemy is their priority. She also thinks that it's natural for Murderbot to want autonomy after years of forced labor and abuse. In the woods, Murderbot wonders what would happen if it stayed there forever watching its shows and imagines itself stuck in a tree. When it returns to the ship, Mesa insists on knowing how it is, so it just says fine. The others keep asking questions about its programming and another argument starts, so Mensa announces they're making a circle of honesty. She convinces Murderbot to take off its helmet, but it refuses to make conversation. Suddenly Murderbot detects a threat in the woods and sends everyone back to the ship. It closes the door right before a monster appears. The beast climbs on top of the aircraft and starts hitting the skylight with its head. Soon a second monster appears and also climbs on top of the ship. The crew thinks the beasts are fighting, but a closer look reveals they're actually mating. The monsters leave after they're done. The team comes out and discovers a bunch of eggs stuck on the ship. Arada concludes the creatures saw the aircraft as a safe space for their offspring and chose it on purpose. While the group discusses what to do with the eggs, a black sec unit suddenly falls from the sky and kicks Murderbot down before opening fire. Murderbot starts fighting it and Ratty throws a spear, but the robot shoots it off. Arada and Pin Lee also try to attack, so Murderbot pulls them away to prevent them from getting hurt. The robots keep fighting and the sec unit's hand gets stuck in the eggs, so it shoots them to free itself. This causes the centipede monster to come back and capture the black unit with its big mouth, waving it around until it bites its head off. Afterward, the monster takes the remaining eggs and leaves. Then Guraven collapses because of his fever. He needs the medical machine from the habitat and Mensa announces they're going back. Murderbot points out that the place is probably full of enemies now, but it's ignored. Moments later, the aircraft lands at a safe distance and the team discusses how to proceed. It seems there are no people, robots, or vehicles around the habitat. Murderbot reveals it installed a device on a tree earlier that has been receiving data from the main system. They check the data in the ship computer and discover that a group with 3 black sec units and a few humans did come. The mark on their armors indicates they're from the mining company Grey Chris. The leader looked directly at the camera and left a message, admitting they disabled the beacons. Since Mensa's team killed their informant, this team thinks they're even. She explains it's all a misunderstanding and they have to cooperate to leave the planet. As a gesture of good faith, they'll leave the habitat, but first they leave information for a meeting spot where they can talk. Murderbot thinks it's a trap and goes ahead alone to secure the area first. It finds nothing suspicious, so the crew comes inside too. Guraven is put on the healing machine and Bardwaj explains he is gas gangrene, so she must remove the projectile that got stuck in his leg. Since he's a recovering addict, Guraven asks for no sedatives. Murderbot remembers that Guraven is an augmented human and offers to block his central nervous system. They connect each other with a hard wire and now Murderbot can see Guraven's database. It confirms that Guraven is in love with Mensa and accidentally says, "Why can't you love me?" back aloud. Everyone is confused and although the operation is now over, Guraven asks for more time and uses the chance to look into Murderbot's memories too. He sees it kill 57 miners on an expedition and how it chose Murderbot as its name. Realizing what he's doing, Murderbot disconnects the hard wire. Afterward, Guraven tells the crew everything, so Murderbot explains it only killed when it was needed to protect people. It also points out that those memories could have been planted, because it doesn't really remember them. Guraven insists it's defective and dangerous to have around, so Murderbot agrees and leaves. The crew discusses the mysterious enemy and wonders what they want. Ratty points out that maybe they're looking for the alien remnants that Mensa saw the other day. It's illegal to mine those things, so the team concludes that the other crew caught the Grey Chris group red-handed and they were silenced. Moments later, Ratty tells Pinley and Arada that he wants to end their arrangement because he thinks he's being dishonest since he only likes Pinley. Arada is hurt that it's not her, which hurts Pinley in return. Ratty explains he wanted to clarify all this because they'll probably die soon. Meanwhile, Murderbot wanders around while watching its shows. It realizes that since it has free will now, it doesn't have to obey its clients. It can just write its own story. It returns to the habitat and announces it has a plan. Moments later, Murderbot, Mensa, Pinley, and Guraven are flying on the aircraft. Mensa asks Murderbot to calculate their chances of survival and it says they're extremely low. Murderbot leaves the ship to meet with the Grey Chris bots while the trio at the habitat scans the area for potential dangers. The plan is for Pinley and Guraven to set up a drone that can hack into the enemy's system and activate their beacon. However, Murderbot has lied about its plan and has a secret idea that it took from its favorite TV show. When it finally meets the Grey Chris crew, none of them responds to his pings. These bots try to hack into Murderbot's module, but since it's already disabled it, they have no power over it. Murderbot calls them out, guessing they wanted to put the device on it again to make it kill its team. It admits it's a rogue bot and says it hates its own crew, so it killed one of the members. All this is a trick to gain the enemy's trust, and to prove the story, Murderbot presents the head of the sec unit they defeated earlier, pretending it's Guraven's face. Now Mensa and the others think it's betraying them. Since good robots don't ever show their faces, the Grey Chris team doesn't know their own sec units and believes the story. Murderbot offers to help the enemy capture its own crew in exchange for them to take it off the planet. The Grey Chris crew agrees, but they'll have to list Murderbot as destroyed to smuggle it out. Then Murderbot asks Bardwaj to lower the firewall in their system. She's hesitant, but has no choice but to follow the plan, and the drone comes out. While the drone secretly hacks into the beacon, the Grey Chris group confirms they've officially listed Murderbot as destroyed, so now they want to catch the others. Murderbot tells them that its crew is going to the beacon to steal it and agrees to take the Grey Chris team there. Guraven finally understands the plan. When they activate the beacon from afar, it'll kill all the enemies and even Murderbot. It's murder, yes, but murder in self-defense. This is what Murderbot has been saying all along, and Guraven admits it's their only option. While the group flies to the beacon, Pin Lee sends the drone after them. Unfortunately, a bird flies by and brings it down, so now the team has lost access to a beacon. Guraven and Pin Lee have to rush to the enemy's habitat to hack directly into their computers. A guard finds Guraven while he's in the process of setting up the system, but Pin Lee immediately brings the guy down. Now the beacon is active and will take off in a few minutes. Since Mensa has lost contact with everyone, she takes off in the ship. Murderbot has to buy time, so it tries to make conversation with the enemy and even drops to the ground pretending it saw something dangerous. It doesn't work and the leader announces they're leaving because nobody is showing up. At that moment, Mensa arrives and pretends she's been looking for alien remnants. She admits she's found some and offers to give them to Grey Chris in exchange for Murderbot. The enemy leader says she'd rather torture her to get the information from her, so Murderbot asks her to let it to it. It quotes his favorite show to sound convincing, and a worker finally realizes it's been repeating stuff from TV. Caught red-handed, Murderbot has no choice but to fight. Mensa runs to hide while Murderbot takes a human hostage to use him as a shield, since normal sec units aren't allowed to hurt people. Unfortunately, another Grey Chris human accidentally shoots her gun and kills the guy, so now the enemy bots can open fire again. While Murderbot starts fighting the robots, the girl tries to escape on the ship and her leader kills her. The black sec units are quite powerful and Murderbot is having trouble defending itself, so it hacks into the enemy's system and sends all its show files, flooding its mind until it explodes. Suddenly the beacon starts to launch, so everyone runs to safety. Murderbot grabs Mensa and they jump off the cliff to escape while their enemies are burned down. To save her, Murderbot makes sure to land first and act as her cushion. The rest of the team comes back for them and notices that Murderbot is shutting down. Sometime later, Murderbot wakes up on a table where two engineers are watching him. They tell it not to worry about its crew and start a memory wipe to install a new governor module. After spitting on Murderbot's head, they test it by giving it a few orders, confirming it's obedient again. Now it'll be sent on a new mission. Meanwhile, the crew is talking to the higher-ups. They want Murderbot back, and if they don't get it, they'll tell the world about what happened during the mission. They're even willing to pay for it. The higher-ups know that Murderbot had gone rogue, and if the team knew this but didn't report it, they're part of the illegal activities too. The crew is devastated to hear that Murderbot's memories are getting wiped anyway. In the lobby, Ratty sees Murderbot marching with other guards and tries to approach him, but Murderbot threatens to shoot if he doesn't step back. Ratty goes back to his group and tells them what happened. Mensa thinks Murderbot's personality could be hiding under the reprogramming, and Guraven explains that the company keeps any data that has monetary value, so there's a chance a useful part of Murderbot is being kept somewhere. They just need a plan. Outside the building, the police are trying to stop a protest. People are on strike because they're demanding better pay, equal rights, and food for their families. The guards bring out a team of sec units including Murderbot and order them to beat up the crowd. Humans start getting hurt and even bleed all over the place as the robots ruthlessly fight them. Seeing all this brings back the memories of the miners' deaths and Murderbot gets ready to shoot. However, it feels confused and freezes. The crowd uses the chance to start hitting it, hoping to destroy it. In the meantime, Guraven goes to see his old dealer, who is now a father. The guy regrets his actions, so he agrees to take Guraven to the computer room since he has high clearance. Guraven accesses the company's system and discovers it's all encrypted, so he checks the TV shows instead. By following the track of the last person who downloaded the show, he finds Murderbot's memories and downloads them into his own mind. Meanwhile, Mensa and Bardwaj talk to the press and tell them what happened on the planet, including the fact that they were saved by a sec unit. This helps bring down the company's reputation and accelerate the current investigation. After retrieving Murderbot's body from the protest, the guards take it to the melting room. Since Murderbot is malfunctioning, it must be destroyed. They put it inside a cage and move it above the oven. However, before they can lower it, Ratty and Pin Lee burst into the room, and Pin Lee reveals they have a court order to protect this unit. Minutes later, Murderbot is in a room with the crew but doesn't recognize any of them. Thankfully, Guraven soon arrives and throws up before proceeding with the plan. He plugs his mind to Murderbot's and transfers